let's flip a coin. Head Carolina, tails California, somewhere greener, somewhere warmer.
Hello, it's Andy Graham of hoboontheroad.com. I've traveled non-stop for 16 plus years and went to 102 countries. I'm in Bucharest, Romania, and I talk about the traveler's lifestyle. I got to put on my glasses to read this little Kindle. It's not on my emails are not on this Kindle. I transfer them over to this thing, guys. Okay, Charlene asked, while you are in Malta, could you give us some information about retirement possibilities there? Is there an expat community there? What are the living expenses, medical amenities, then just information about climate, language, affordability? Okay, let's go through these things. They speak English, so anybody in the English-speaking world that's reading, it's their second language. Their first language is some kind of multi-language, but generally you can talk English really well. The climate is probably subtropic. It's not tropical. I think it gets pretty cool in January, February. I think it gets pretty chilly where you'd have to have a light jacket. So it's pretty good for anybody that really likes cold weather. It's probably the only solution for anybody who wants to stay in the same time zones as Europe. The only thing I know other to go to is either Africa or to Sharm el-Sheikh, Egypt, and stay in the same time zone. So most Europeans would be more likely to retire in Thailand or Philippines or places like this because it's not really Malta is not really a tropical climate. You might go, but you go farther south and you're changing religions and you're getting into Libya, Algeria and this stuff, and then the only way to go further is to jump all the way to like Ghana or Togo, which is not normally what they want to do. But I like to do that. Medical amenities, they actually made me get, I bought some medicine while I was there. They said that it was by prescription only. It was Noxaprin or something. It's just it's an over-the-counter thing that they sell in America, but they said I had to have a thing. So the medical seems just on par with Europe, which is very expensive in a way. So I wouldn't say the medical stuff was good. The living expenses are about the same as the United States. I mean, this is not a place to go to live cheap. You can go rent a room for, say, 400 euros a thing and live and share a room in a flat with 4 other people for about 400 euros a month. But that isn't necessarily what everybody wants to do when they think about retiring. Is there an expat community? I joined, I think, 3, because this is considered one of the prime retirement places on the planet, but I think only probably for the British that really don't want to have friends. But there's 3 or 4 websites. So go to Facebook, you search for Malta expat, and you find these, ask to join. A couple weeks later they'll do it. I did write one of the moderators of one of these things and ask if there's any place where the expats hang out on a regular basis where I could walk into a restaurant and you would always be picking up on 3 or 4 expats, and he said no. And I searched, I looked around. It's like living in a constant tourist environment, but you could live in, if you're from Norway or Sweden or something, you might want to live there. They probably do have high enough speed internet where you could actually work and go back and forth. But you're going to the problem with Malta for me as an expat or wanting to live abroad is the fact that, I'm sorry, it's not focusing good. There's just not enough light in here. Let me see if I can open the window a little more. Maybe that'll help. The problem for me is that it's not enjoyable to constantly be talking to tourists. You really do need a steady set of friends in a way, at least a core group that you get. And as far as retiring there, This is a mountainous place on the thing. Okay, this is really not focusing. Let me try to move the camera. Okay, it's pretty mountainous there, and they got high rises, and the high rises, I was looking, none of them, I thought that first it was going to be really good for like people with wheelchairs and stuff, but all the entrances I seen all around St. Julian Bay, Salema, didn't have a way to enter the building with, they weren't handicapped ready, and I thought they would be able to go in, get on the elevator and go up. You could actually be in a wheelchair, because the wheelchair around, there is a boardwalk all the way around it, and you can go along this boardwalk, and if you had a power wheelchair or something, and I've seen a couple of them, but I didn't see it really and one of the things that people do that are thinking about retiring is they act like they're never going to get old, and they're never going to be to the point where they can't walk and stuff. And this is a place I wouldn't take my mother at all. She's 81. I'd consider it a horrible place for my mother. And I'm going to move this camera one more time. Okay, I'll just hold it in my hand. I would never consider taking my mother. It's just too hilly. And the shopping is kind of bad. The supermarkets there's no big supermarkets, and there's absolutely no parking. So it's not like you can have a car and just really park it easy. This is going from one level of income to the exact same level of income. It's not really going uphill for most people. It might be going uphill for an American. It's probably going just on level ground, on the same expense level for a British or Spanish or French or whatever. But for an American, I think it's more expensive, so you're actually costing you more money. But you have to fly to the island, so there's not, you're a captive audience, and I don't like really living on islands, and but there are some cheap flights out of there with Wizz Air and Ryanair. I would say it's very low on my totem. I doubt that I ever will go back, so don't think that I'm in love with the place at all. I just spent 10 days there, and I didn't find any expat community at all. The expat communities that are on Facebook, for the most part, are just trying to sell things to other Facebook members, members inside the community. So it's not too, but it's always possible I didn't find the right place.